With the average American family more than $10,000 in credit card debt, many consumers are looking for ways to avoid the holiday shopping hangover. According to one financial provider, roughly 20% of consumers haven't decided how they will pay for their purchases this holiday season. But there is an alternative to credit cards and even cash. Old school savings tricks are making a big comeback. It's called the layaway. Kelly Grant of Smart Money is here to talk about this old concept and some factors you need to consider before signing up for a layaway plan. Kelly, welcome back to Good Money.
Thanks for having me.
So if you would first please just explain what exactly layaway means. It's been a while for some of us.
It is. It's a real throwback for most people. Layaway basically is a contract with the store. They're going to put aside items for you and hold them interest-free while you make regular payments. And once you make the payments in full and the items are paid for, then you can take them home.
So it doesn't work like you take home and then pay. You pay first and then take home.
It's the opposite of credit cards, buy now, pay later. You pay now and then you actually get the item later.
Yeah, that is interesting because, as we were saying, it's sort of an old school financing arrangement. Is there a resurgence going on of these old-fashioned systems?
It really isn't. It's all due to those credit card problems. A lot of consumers are in tighter financial straits than they were a few years ago. They don't have a lot of discretionary income in any given paycheck to pay for all of their purchases at once. But they're looking at these credit cards and seeing interest rates are going up, fees are getting added as card issuers get ready for these credit card reforms to go in place next year. And they're seeing that it's unaffordable, really, to put everything on credit cards.
So are we seeing more and more stores offering layaway plans?
We are seeing some more bigger stores offering layaway this year. Kmart and Sears had started the resurgence last year by reintroducing layaway, and now Toys R Us and Babies R Us have it this year. We're also seeing more retailers looking at eLayaway.com. It's a website that partners with a lot of smaller stores and offers specific products from big name retailers.
Now, are there risks for the consumer? In other words, I'm wondering if you start your layaway plan and you can't finish it, let's say, is that money gone?
Well, there really are some risks for consumers. If you start it and you can't finish it, you can cancel, but there are some fees attached. There are also some pitfalls even if you do continue. There are a lot of good sales this year and you might miss out on some of them.
So you can't pay for sale items on a layaway plan?
Well, you can get the item, but it's the price is locked in when you put it on layaway.
So if you continue to pay, what is it, monthly, weekly? How does it work?
It depends on the system. Most of them are every other week you need to make a payment. So, they can be tough to continue for some people that don't really know what their financial situation is going to be even a month from now.
So if you're paying month by month, let's say, and the item you're paying for is discounted, they won't honor that price adjustment.
You've locked it in when you set up this contract for the most part.
That's a big disadvantage. But of course, if the only alternative is not getting the item at all, then maybe that is still the way to go.
Exactly. And there are some advantages to layaway in that.
Are there other disadvantages?
Well, for one of the disadvantages that you want to be considering is just some of the fees that are involved. They can be fairly expensive. Tell us about those.
What kinds of fees?
Well, you'll start out and there's going to be a setup fee. You're going to pay $5 to $10 and then a deposit. And that's really small change if compared to credit card interest, for example. But that's why you want to get big ticket items or really stick with layaway for a store where you're going to be doing a lot of the shopping. So that way you make sure that you're keeping that fee to at most 10% of your purchase.
All right. And so you have some factors that people need to consider before they decide a layaway plan is for them. And the first one you say is to consider credit card balances. Why would that play into your layaways?
Well, if you're paying for your balance in full every month in your credit card, then it really doesn't matter how you pay. There's no major advantage doing layaway, and it can actually cost you some more money. But if you're carrying any sort of a credit card balance, then layaway can be a really smart idea. If you add to your credit card balance by paying your holiday gifts now, even if you can pay off those gifts in full next month, you're still adding a lot of interest over the life of your loan as you're paying down that credit card debt. And that's going to be significantly more than the cost to take advantage of a layaway plan.
All right, that makes sense. Now, we talked earlier about the setup fees and to make sure you're aware of those. Now, you also say you need to work out how this factors into your holiday budget.
Exactly. Most people think of layaway as a very cheap option because when you're starting out, you're paying, say, for $500 worth of gifts, you might pay a $5 setup fee and then 10%, so $50 right up front, which makes it seem very affordable. And then if you think about how those payments are broken down, suddenly you may be paying, $150 every 2 weeks, which may not be affordable in the end. So you want to really look at your holiday budget and make sure that you're not overspending with this idea that you're going to be able to afford it later. Try to keep it within your means.
The problem is, though, if you're trying to buy holiday gifts, do you have enough of a head start at this point? Because you can't take the item until you've paid for it in full. So is it a little too late to start a holiday layaway plan for a big ticket item at this point?
Most retailers cut off the layaway plans at late November, so you do still have some time. Toys R Us, for example, they just want you to pick up the gifts at least a day or two before the holidays, so you've still got plenty of time there. And then a lot of online layaway programs, you can actually start layaway now for a special gift for later on next year for something like a piece of jewelry or an engagement ring. It doesn't have to be holiday related.
So you have a fee schedule worked out, but if you have to rearrange that fee schedule and extend, are there fees involved with that as well?
There are. If you miss a payment, you might actually, in some smaller retailers, lose whatever you've paid altogether. In most cases, though, you're going to be paying a small fee, usually another $5 to $10 or a percentage of the value of the items you've put aside. So it can be pretty expensive if you've got a lot stashed away.
Do you risk losing out on some of those very popular hot items that could sell out? If you've started your layaway plan, do they have to hold that item for you?
They do actually have to hold it, so it's a good advantage for people if you spot something like some of these electronic hamsters or the other hot holiday toys. You know, grab it while you can and put it on layaway. You know, along with presumably other things.
They've got to keep it for you,
and they have to hang on to it for you, which is great for some of these items.
Kelly, thank you so much for all that great advice.
ABC News Now. Good to know.